Welcome to the North American Hunting Odyssey, where members experience and share the Odyssey we call the hunt. This program has been created specifically for members of the North American Hunting Club.
Hi, watch it, watch it. Sit, mark it. Sadie. Hi, I'm Bill Miller, editor of North American Hunter magazine, and your host for this edition of the North American Hunting Odyssey. The Hunting Odyssey features the excitement, challenges, and adventures of hunting all over North America, and features tips and techniques that you can use next time you're in the field. Good girl. Heel, sit, drop it. Good girl, good girl. The Hunting Odyssey is also a great way for you to share your hunting adventures with your fellow NAHC members. So if you've got some adventures on tape, send them on in to club headquarters. For our first stop in this edition of the Hunting Odyssey, you'll join me in southwest Nebraska for muzzleloaders and white-tailed deer. Then it's off to British Columbia with North American Hunting Club Vice President Mark LaBarbera as he hunts big bull moose. We'll spend an afternoon hunting Bobwhite quail and following some great dogs in South Carolina. And that will follow up with some interesting tips about GPS, or global positioning systems. We'll hunt tom turkeys in Texas, and then travel north to Alaska, where we'll go bow hunting for black bear with NAHC Life member Randy Burnham. We'll follow the Alaskan black bear adventure and head cross-country to Churchill, Manitoba for the best goose hunting I've ever seen. And then we'll wrap up this edition of the Odyssey with noted guide Judd Cooney as he stalks a North American pronghorn antelope. That's a lot of action for one afternoon, so we better get started. First stop, Nebraska for whitetails with muzzleloaders. Here you go, mark it. See. Hunting with black powder firearms has a mystique all its own. There's something special about slipping through the woods or across the tundra with a muzzleloader under your arm. And when a shot is fired, there's no more exciting moments in all the outdoors than those seconds you wait for the smoke to clear to see the results. It's all part of the muzzleloading experience. And today, it's easier than ever to give black powder hunting a try. Numerous manufacturers have taken the age-old traditions of black powder and a single shot and incorporated them into thoroughly modern firearms that are much easier to shoot, clean, and maintain than the relics of bygone days. Not only are the modern inline action guns easier to maintain and longer lasting, but advances in bullets, powders, priming systems, and patching materials make them far more accurate and reliable than the flintlocks and side hammers of yesteryear. Note that I said more accurate and more reliable, not more powerful or more long-range capable. These modern muzzleloaders still offer the single-shot, sneak-up-close-to-your-game challenges that have always made black powder hunting a challenge befitting America's finest woodsmen. And few men are more deserving of wearing that title than Tony Knight, the grand old man of modern muzzleloading. Why don't you come on along and join Tony and me in Nebraska on a whitetail hunt we took together last season. But first, let's take just a moment for Tony to explain his latest creation.
We call this the Knight Magnum Elite. It's very unique, unlike the time-honored MK85 that set standards for muzzleloading, for many years. We think this is going to do the same thing. What we have actually done is eliminated the nipple. There is no nipple in this rifle. It's going to be much easier for the novice to use or the beginning muzzleloader to use. Actually, what it fires by is what we call a percussion capsule. And the most unique thing, it's going to use a centerfire Magnum rifle primer. Now, this is what everybody's wanted, is hot ignition. They've experimented with shotgun primers. As you know, you've had conversion kits that you could put centerfire primers in, but it was very cumbersome to use. Well, this one, we've made it very simple. It fires on what we call a percussion capsule. You just merely open the bolt and use this little plastic percussion capsule. Now, these can be loaded without any special tools. You just put the primer on the table and push it down. You're loaded. Plus, this rifle is so simple that you can load this in the dark. You don't even need to see it. If you can find the indent in the receiver, slide your little percussion capsule into the bolt, close the bolt, put your safeties on, you're ready to go. Plus, we've maintained the double safety system.
Well, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Good luck.
Okay, Bill, you too.
When you think about hunting whitetails, Probably the first place you don't think of is southwest Nebraska for great bucks, but it's a wonderful place to hunt deer. In this post-rut period, when we see deer, we're going to be seeing a lot of deer. Occasionally we'll catch a buck out on his own, but we'll see a lot of does first. This isn't an area that's managed for whitetail hunting, so the buck to doe ratios are in a natural state here, with many more does than bucks. The signs of the rut, like the rubs and scrapes, are still evident, and they'll give us an idea where the bucks are active, and then we'll just sit down and wait them out. We're approaching the end of the muzzleloader season, so we'll probably still pass up some smaller bucks, but if we see a good representative one, we'll take them. Well,
what about you?
all age before beauty, you tell me.
Well, you know, like I told you, I did a lot of scouting in what I call the jungle. You know, I told you about that old roadway that I found. Hey, it worked perfect. I got in there, got my blind set up, and there was a few little evergreens about 50 yards down the trail. And there was, when I did the scouting, I found back in the brush a lot of rubs and a lot of scrapes, so I knew there's some activity in there. And I took some of this deer lure, put it on, just on the about deer height on the evergreen branches, and on each side of the trail, because they had a heavy trail crossing that road. Went back and got my blind. First we had 3 or 4 does, but they would kind of just dart across the trail. They wouldn't stay out there very long. So I knew there's probably a buck working the area. So I sat there and I'd grunt a while, and pretty soon here come one, and he crossed the road. He did it real fast, and he circled around and came in with the wind and came out in the open, and I got it.
All right,
Wasn't a big one, but hey, you know, it's getting this close to the end of the season. He's a nice buck, good 8 point.
Good.
So I'm
That
happy
sounds
with
like
it.
a representative buck.
He is, he's real good. Well, what about you?
Well, let me tell you, it was quite a day. I did a little bit of everything. This morning, like I said, I climbed up in that tower blind first.
Yeah, I knew that's where you were going.
Yep, looked around there, and we saw quite a few deer. We had, what amazes me about this place is when you see one deer, you see 10 deer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're herded up. So we saw a lot of deer, a couple small bucks, and we had a few deer kind of sneak through the end of the brush at the end of the clearing.
Couldn't get a good look at
Yeah,
it.
just kind of ghosting through there. You know, muzzle loading, you got that one. You always want to make a one-shot kill,
yeah.
but it's especially
Yeah.
challenging with these. And,
Especially with open sights.
That's right. So next thing I tried is I came over and headed towards that jungle area where I knew you were. I thought, well, maybe by moving around a little, I'll kick something past Tony. Little did I know you probably already had your deer down.
Did you hear me shoot?
No. And so I walked through there and snuck on some of those roads. Boy, that's a still hunter's heaven in there.
Oh, yeah.
You sneak
yeah.
down those roads. Saw a couple deer in there, and had one little buck in the brush that I pulled up on, but passed him by too because he was kind of small. So I had plenty of time left. And then the landowner here told me about a good spot down by the river where the deer come to cross. And I thought, well, this afternoon I'm going to give that a try. So I headed down there and found a great spot, and same thing, found some rubs, found some scrapes, and I thought you could see where the deer were using that ford point in the river there. So I sat down there and same thing, waited about half an hour, and son of a gun, all of a sudden I didn't look over there, and here's a buck looking right through that opening, right square at me.
Oh, no.
Yep. And
Good one?
oh, good buck.
All right.
Slowly started to bring the gun up, and he got around, started moving through the brush. So as he was moving, I got the gun all the way up, and son of a gun stopped. I mean, right square behind this tree.
They
with the
always
deer.
do, yeah.
He stood there. It seemed like forever. Well, finally, another deer cut behind him, and when that other deer was moving behind him, I guess he decided it was about time to head out too. And he took off, not at a walk, he started running, parallel on that riverbank. I thought, oh geez, here we go. Well, he hit an opening, and boom, I shot. With the white smoke, it was like the deer disappeared. I mean, he was gone. And everything had looked right, and I thought, boy, oh boy. So got the gun reloaded, and kind of settled myself down and waded the river.
Oh, no, really?
It was fine going until we got to the bank, and then it went up to about here, but it was the only way I had to get to that deer because he was crossing the other side. So I got up there and went maybe 25, 30 yards back in the wood, and here he was. So I got him right through the lungs. And
Fantastic. I can't wait to see him.
It's a nice 8-point, about 20 inches wide.
Oh,
so.
wow.
Good deer, especially, you know.
A mounter.
You betcha.
Wonderful. Well, we've had a whale of a time.
You bet we have. It's
Sounds like your equipment worked great. Your strategy worked great. Couldn't ask for anything better.
That's right.
Only thing I wish it was next year and we was at it again.
You bet. Nothing beats the challenges of whitetails, prairie river bottoms, and muzzleloading rifles. Now it's time to head north to beautiful British Columbia.
Welcome to northern British Columbia, where bush planes carry hunters into remote camps on wings of anticipation and hope. These thick evergreen slopes, high mountain meadows, and cool river valleys are home year-round to big Canada moose. Success involves avoiding grizzly bears, enduring long days in the saddle, and coping with the constantly changing weather. Here, nature definitely has the upper hand. Let's hope this isn't the only day that we won't need scope covers. If this weather holds out, we'll be sitting pretty. Outfitter and pilot Darwin Watson of Christina Falls Outfitters was born and raised in this dangerously rugged land. He knows how to lead hunters to success for moose, caribou, grizzly, and stone sheep. He knows the mountains, he knows the safe river crossings, he knows the game animals and the signs they leave.
Been a bull moose come through here last night from the look of it. We'll just stop here and glass a little bit, see what we can see. It's a good valley. We're gonna head right over into that country there and get right up in above timberline. Glass back into the edge of the timber for bull moose. We might look up on that ridge there, Mark. I think there could be some caribou up there above timberline. Oh yeah.
During our trip, we saw caribou and other wildlife, but we focused on bull moose, one of the best tasting big game animals there is. Listening to Darwin, you learn that during the mating season, the older bulls could be anywhere, anytime. Horses made it easy to climb near the tree line, where we heard bulls and cows. There's nothing better than the sound of a cow moose in heat when you want to attract trophy bulls. And from up here, we could look and listen to pinpoint the moose. You see, antler-to-antler combat had already established the natural pecking order, and the bull moose are more than ready to find a willing mate, or steal one. So a bull that already has a cow is protective, often herding her off rather than battle over mating privileges.
There's a big bull right here. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? He looks pretty good. Let's get a little closer. Let's see how big he is. Get on with him too. Don't shoot. He's a little too small. He's 45, 46 inches. Are you sure? We should maybe try for a better one.
First day, I suppose.
We'll just see how close we can get. Call to him. Yeah, give him that lovesick cow call. That rack looks pretty big when it's going over the hill. Okay, we'll go look for his daddy. Yeah.
The next day, a snowstorm greeted us, and the previous day's bull started looking pretty good. But Christina Falls has plenty of moose, and we had plenty of time, as long as our boots, clothes, and other gear could hold out in this weather. In fact, for the next couple of days, there was a lot of riding, glassing, calling, walking, and stalking. We were looking for a mature trophy.
Okay, boys, we wasted enough time here. Let's go find that big one. Darwin, I think we need some more snow. There's a real small bull and a cow. Well, if you look down and below there, there's some sheltered draws and trees with all the snow on them. They're all laying in, they'll stay down in there and stay right in the timber. Because that's an ugly wind blowing. So what are we doing up here? We're going down there. We just had to come over this one ridge.
When we came out of the snow-covered evergreens, a small bull was drawn to the sound of the horses and to Darwin's calls. He started getting a little too close. He might have just been in a fight. We sensed another bull was in the area.
You think he's going to be lovesick? Oh, he's pretty lovesick. Look at him. Coming right at us. Why would he come this close, Darwin? Well, he thought I was talking to him, and he figured he can whip me. The same old story, where there's boys, there's usually girls, huh? Uh-huh. He thought maybe there was a stray girl running around over here. Isn't that beautiful? Do you think that big bull with the cows is just up here a little farther? Let's tie up some horses and just walk over through there.
Sure enough, a big bull was about to disappear into the timber.
He is right here. He's about 200. He's just walking away. He's down there. Thank you. Yes, sir. Look at this rat. What do you figure he'll go? 48. 48? Beautiful. Last day bull. We passed up a lot of them.
All big game hunters know well that feeling of total exhilaration that Mark is experiencing right now. Your heart is pounding, your lungs want to explode, and your legs are as wobbly as a newborn fawn's. It's a great feeling, isn't it? Man, that last bull, he was really worth the wait, wasn't he? Next up, an afternoon of quail hunting with good friends, great dogs, and lots of birds on the Bostic Plantation near Estill, South Carolina.
Billy, I believe this is a covey.
Absolutely.
Whoa, dog. Probably is. I'll take the center.
I'll take the left if there is any left, but these woods here, they might gonna have some. Y'all stop right there, Ralph. I'll walk around and maybe we can hit them right back through the woods. Hope just stand still. Come on up a little bit, Tom. Looks like it's gonna be in this thick stuff right here.
Whoa, dog, whoa.
I got one on the right.
I believe we got another one down over here.
Come here, Lulu.
There's two down over here.
I think there's two down over here, isn't there? Yeah.
Good man, be good.
Nice
Good shot, Billy. You ready, Ram?
Yeah.
Whoa, Lulu, careful. Careful.
Good shot, Ralph.
Good shot, Ram.
Way to go, Dewey.
Good shot.
They sure are pretty flying, aren't they?
Got him dead in here. Got him dead. Dead.
There you go. He got him. Dead bird.
Beautiful. Watch it.
All right. Well, that's the last one here, wasn't it, John?
That was it.
Okay. Which way you want to go now? You want to head on around up this slough some more? Or?
Yeah, let's work our way right on along this edge here.
Good enough.
Good. Beautiful to watch these dogs work, Ralph.
Yes, it is.
Well, Ralph, you smoked that first one, boy. This
Tickles me to death to get the first one after I haven't been out in a year.
Now, Tom said he got one, and the dog brought one back. I don't know. Might be another one. That cripple went back, got back up.
Bring it here, boy. Bring it here. Come in here.
There was one that was hit the ground and got back up, I saw.
Oh, Lulu, careful in there. Careful in there. Careful. What do you have? 4 or 5 birds get up there?
I just saw
Just
three.
two.
Saw
Two,
three's all I
three?
saw.
Thought it was two.
Got another dead one on the ground. We gotta
Yeah. One of them, somebody knocked one down, and
come in here.
Dewey went after him, and I saw the bird get back up and fly back in the swamp there.
Definitely two dead.
Yeah.
Whoop. The dude's got a bird
Right here. Here's one.
Let's see what we got in front of
Might be another.
Whoop, dog. Whoop.
I'm gonna watch out to the left here.
Whoop. Whoop. Bird's in that thick.
I know it.
It's still going. Just steady. Just stand off this side over here. And
Whoa, girl. Whoa, girl. Whoop.
All right, we're gonna go in here and harvest one then.
Bird in here.
Careful.
Bird maybe walked off on him.
Bird.
Maybe Lulu's smelling him now. It's right. It's gotta be right here in
That
front.
wind's been swirling some, hasn't it?
Right here on this thick stuff, I'd say. Nice shot.
you get it first. Did you hit it?
I didn't even shoot.
Nice shot, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
You smell another one in there, Dewey? I got one right out there. She's right on him.
They're right here in front of us, man.
I got one over here.
It. Dude's got him right now.
I really love watching dogs work like that. They're natural-born hunters, made all the better by some great training. Even an experienced outdoorsman can lose his sense of direction and get turned around in darkness, while in heavy cover, or in unfamiliar terrain. That's why I'm sold on global positioning systems. And we asked Greg Gitcho, an NAHC staff member, to explain how to use these potentially life-saving devices.
Hey, here's this little pond. I knew it had to be here. Hi, I'm Greg Gitcho, Senior Editor of North American Hunter magazine. I'm here in northern Minnesota scouting before the whitetail season, And though I've never been in this woods before, much less this county, I know I'll be able to find my truck at the end of the day because of this tiny little device. It's a handheld GPS receiver that automatically tracks my position anywhere I go, anywhere in the world. This electronic marvel lets me hunt longer, further, and in any kind of weather without getting lost. With a handheld GPS unit, I always know where I am, where I'm going, and how to get back. You can explore new places and go deeper into the woods where there are fewer hunters. I can spend all of my time scouting or hunting and never have to worry about how to get back to my truck or camp. In case you're wondering, GPS stands for Global Positioning System. A GPS unit works by locking into signals from satellites orbiting 12,000 feet above the Earth. It uses these signals to determine latitude, longitude, and altitude. The unit then converts this information into easy-to-understand displays that guide you in and out of the wilderness. The GPS unit works 24 hours a day, everywhere in the world, and in all kinds of weather, so it's the most reliable hunting partner I have. And don't think that GPS units are only intended for us hunters. It's perfect for fishing, canoeing, boating, wildlife photography, backpacking, hiking, camping, mountain climbing, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, and four-wheeling. But for hunters like you and I, it's ideal. You can track deer in the deep wilderness without having to mark a trail, because one of the features of most modern GPS units is a backtrack mode that finds your way back automatically. However, as advanced and sophisticated as this little GPS unit is, it should not be a substitute for knowing how to read a topo map and proper use of a compass. Built-in memory features allow you to store, in some cases, hundreds of locations, helping you to find tree stands, favorite hunting spots, backwoods camping sites, and your best fishing holes. So that means days, weeks, or even years later, you can use your GPS coordinates to return to those exact locations. And best of all, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out how one of these little things works. A few minutes spent reading the instruction manual, and then a little time in the woods or on the water will have you using a GPS receiver like an expert. Oh, there's a nice scrape. This is what I've been looking for. I'm gonna lock this spot in. Once again, I want to repeat that a GPS unit should never take the place of learning proper orienteering skills. It has, however, opened up new vistas for me and lots of other outdoorsmen who have discovered the fun, practicality, and reliability of using GPS. So check them out and see if one of these little gizmos wouldn't make the perfect hunting partner for you as well. I gotta get back to scouting. See ya.
You know the only bad thing about GPS is now there's no more excuses for my wife when I get home late. Well, I'm ready for those big Rio Grande gobblers. How about you?
Hunting turkeys in West Texas is different than most people are used to. Most people that come here look around and they think, you know, there couldn't possibly be any turkeys here. West Texas is very unique. It's a large, expansive country, mostly low brush, low oak trees. It's very arid. It's a semi-desert region, but we do have a vast number of turkeys. Most of the people that come from the southeast or the Midwest are completely blown away by how open we are. But you can see turkeys. Lots of times you'll see turkeys walking here where you don't only have to hear them, you can sight call to them, really, which adds a lot to the sport. I think that if a guy is capable of calling an eastern turkey in either Georgia or Alabama or Pennsylvania or whatever, he will have no problem calling them in Texas. You just have to go out and hunt them just like you do in any other part of the country.
We've come to West Texas to hunt Rio Grande turkeys. I'm fortunate enough to have with me Alan Jenkins, a man with 40 years of turkey hunting experience under his belt and a quarter century with Lynch game calls. I'm really excited about this trip because I'm counting on Alan to teach me a lot about turkey calling.
Oh, pretty. You'll get one right here.
We chose our calling location based on Bill Whitfield's words of wisdom and on the various sign we had found when we scouted the area the previous afternoon. We hoped this position would put us in a corridor of travel the buck-run turkeys use as they move from the roosting area to feeding areas, watering holes, and dusting sites.
Man, this is a beautiful morning and a great spot.
As you settle in to call turkeys, it's important to fix in your mind some landmarks to tell you when the gobbler is truly in range of the shotgun. A rangefinder, most commonly used by bow hunters, takes the guesswork out of establishing those distances. In open country like West Texas, Alan likes to begin his calling sequence with loud yelps and cackles from a box-type call.
I'm gonna make a call or two and just see what's going on.
Okay.
Any close birds would most likely have been spooked off by our approach through the sparse cover, so the initial louder calling is intended to entice a gobbler from a long way off. Most turkey hunters wear gloves while calling, but Alan prefers the sensitive touch of his experienced fingers on the friction calls. With a lifetime of experience to call on, Alan knows just what he can get away with when a longbeard is coming in. Once a gobbler responds and starts coming to the louder calls, Alan likes to switch to a small slate call, which more easily produces the sweet, subtle sounds of an undisturbed hen turkey. It's powerful medicine for Rio Grande gobblers.
His feathers shine. He's got a full fan. Looks like he's got a longer thinner beard. He's an old Jaco. He's got a round fan. We're not gonna shoot this turkey.
Man, it's tough to pass up a mature bird that close. Why don't we see if we can call in a little bigger one with a better tail?
There he is coming through there. He's right through the bushes. He gets behind that bush. He's coming right up through there. Look at him, he's running. When he gets to that bush right there, you better get your gun out. Let him go back when he goes behind that bush.
There he is.
Oh,
Great shot, Bear.
oh, good calling too, Alan. I love it when they drop where you take them.
I knew this bird had a spur on him. Look at that.
Oh, great spurs.
And you knew that he was an older bird.
Yeah. And he's
But
been
that tells
strutting.
you he's, you know, look at his big old foot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a very long beard, but he's a sure mature bird.
Well, he shot a little of it off.
Yeah. Well, let's see how much he weighs here. Oh, he'll go, I don't know, 19, 20 pounds
19,
maybe?
20? Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah. Well, let's go back and show them to the boys at the bunkhouse. Turkeys are plentiful in Texas, so the state's game laws allow hunters to take 2 on their spring tag. With 1 in the bag, Alan and I decided to try for the double header. Yeah, there sure are a lot of prickly pear out here, aren't there?
Oh, everywhere. Yeah.
I've heard it said that in West Texas, everything either sticks, itches, or bites.
Everything out of here is sticky.
You know, we've been lucky we haven't seen any rattlesnakes this kind of weather. They might be out.
I'm sure they are. I hope I don't see any rattlesnakes.
Well, that sure was a nice bird we got this morning, but this afternoon I'd like to concentrate on a longbeard.
All right. This is a pretty open place here. We can get one to gobble off in the distance here. We'll stay in here a while.
All right. Clear this out of here so if I have to move, I won't make too much noise.
All right.
We carefully chose our afternoon calling location to intercept a mature gobbler as he meandered toward the roost late in the day.
I see a bunch of jakes coming in. Looks like about half a dozen birds. A big longbeard won't be spooked by all those eyes looking at us. Just let them walk off. Well, it's getting late.
You should be headed towards
the roost. They'll be heading towards the roost. That one to gobble, I'll go back up in there. I feel like he'll come down this way. The wind's getting where he can't hear us.
Just wait him out.
Yeah. There's two.
Some hens too.
Yeah, but look at that. That's two big.
Oh yeah.
He come corner a little bit of a strut.
Look at him in that sunshine. This is gonna be tough to get the gun up.
You just got to move real slow. Everything's slow. As soon as he tops out on that little rim there. You got to shoot him between your trees now. No! You got him? Oh yeah. Bird's gonna weigh 20, 21 pounds.
I'll tell you, Alan, for pure excitement, there ain't much that beats turkey hunting. Next up, bow hunting for black bear with NAHC Life member Randy Burnham. Let's climb aboard and head north to the mountains of Salcha, Alaska. Anyone who's ever been to a fly-in camp to hunt knows the feeling. It's that nervous anticipation. You want to enjoy the beautiful scenery and the plane ride, but you want to be there and get the hunt started. Alaska's laws prohibiting hunting within 24 hours of flying heighten the anticipation even more. As you take your first glimpse of the hunting area, you can't wait for the hunt to start. When those big bear come in, they're always cautious. And the really big bear, I think a lot of times they know you're there and they just don't care. Bow hunters have to wait for that perfect split second to take a shot. There's no second chance. Hold on. Let him move. Now! Good hit.
Get him?
Yeah. And we're going to do this live, and he was standing right over there when I shot him, so we're going to look for the arrow first. Yeah, he was getting real antsy at the end. Randy was up there, and that stand up there made a noise, and it caught his attention, and he was looking. He had me stared right down. He didn't, I didn't move, and he knew something wasn't quite right. He started going that way, and I stood up, and I drew. But these trees right here were in the way, and luckily for me, well, either way, if he'd gone that way, I would have shot him. If he'd turned this way, I'd have shot him. He turned this way, came into a clearing, right down, right through here. I shot over this, actually through these. I was kind of praying to God the arrow would go through this stuff. I can see the arrow sticking to the ground over here. So coming from, I just cleared these limbs. The bear was standing right here. There's air bubbles and arterial blood on the arrow, indicating good lung hit. So the bear took off this way, and that's where we're going.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's right where I watched him go.
Yeah, come here. See that right down there?
Yeah, there he is right there.
He's right there. He didn't go from the place I shot him to where he's laying is about 25 yards. That's a dead bear.
He didn't live 10 seconds from the hit.
Well, he's no monster by any means, but he is a pretty black bear, and he'll go 5 to 5.5 foot. He's a good adult boar. He's got some good sized paws on him. Not huge, but he's a good mature adult bear, probably 4 years old or older. But he's got a good coat on him. Don't forget your camera the next time you're out in the field, so you can share your hunting adventures with other club members. Good thick hide on him.
Now I'd like you to join me on one of the most exciting trips I've ever been on, to northern Manitoba in search of snows, blues, and Canada geese. Man, I can't believe I'm finally here. Northern Canada, the shores of Hudson Bay, and I'm here to hunt geese. Something I've dreamed about doing all my life. The history of this place is incredible. Man's been here for hundreds of years, and the geese have been here since long, long before that. We've come to Diamond Lake Lodge in northern Manitoba. In fact, the farthest north goose outfitter anywhere. We're going to try our luck on snows, blues, Canadas, and Ross's geese during the next few days. Should be a fantastic hunt. We're hunting geese up here on Hudson Bay, Churchill, Manitoba with Diamond Lake Outfitters. It's early season, but it's a lot like early season anywhere. The one advantage we've got going here is that the geese haven't been educated yet by a lot of hunting pressure, so they're new to the tricks of the hunter. But what we're doing here can be utilized pretty much anywhere that you hunt early season geese. Now a lot of times early season geese in the States is going to mean Canada as the snows come down later. Now what we've done here is set out the decoys to imitate the pattern of the real birds. By that I mean in numbers. They aren't flocked up here yet like they are down when they get down in the States, so we're using a smaller decoy spread here than I would back home for early season geese. Because by the time they reach us, they're in some big flocks, and it takes a big spread of decoys to pull in big flocks of birds. We're going to be hunting from a little willow blind here that the guides from Diamond Lake have set up. As you can see, there's a lot of green in these willows yet. And the pattern we've got, it uses a lot of green and grays. Our backdrop is a rock, so the grays blend in well with that. All right! See what I mean? No place like Hudson Bay in Canada for geese. There's the bird. Now this is an immature Ross's. When he's an adult bird, he'll have kind of a rough bulbous section on top of his bill here. He hasn't developed that yet. A little bit smaller than a regular snow goose, but every bit as good eating and fun to hunt up here. We'll be putting this bird out as a decoy to add to the spread. What we're doing here is setting up the birds that we get as decoys. All you do is get yourself a little stick, push it down into the ground, kind of smooth the bird out, then prop his head up on the stick, like so. Got him. All right. Well, that's what early season goose hunting is all about. You know, early season you can prepare for in a lot of ways, but you really can't work out some of the bugs till you get out here. Things you can practice are like calling. My favorite time to do it is driving to work in the morning. I sit and call and call and call. I think people in the other cars think I'm a little bit crazy, but they can't hear me, so what the heck. Here he is. A nice young snow goose. You can tell he's a young bird because he's got some dark on his back. Nope, they're turning back. Yeah, hammer him. Got him!
Good shot.
All right.
Good shot.
Let's go get him. All right. Oh, look, a banded bird. Neck band and a leg band. Wow. Think that's probably from this summer?
Most likely, yeah.
Now they band them up on Eskimo Point, don't they?
Yeah.
So I think it's a cooperative effort between the Canadian government and the U.S. government. They're coming right down the pike. Get him. Jeez. How can you do that? I was behind him, I know that. We took Rosses, Snows, Blues, and Canada geese all on one trip. You know, it really was a dream come true to come up here and hunt geese on Hudson Bay in Manitoba. Now I've got a new dream. I want to come back. Man, they're a beautiful bird, aren't they, Don?
Aren't they, though? A lot of brilliant colors in them.
Gorgeous feathering. Well, you were telling me you wanted to have one mounted for your office at home?
Yeah, I want to take one back. You don't get up here that often, and you know, have a souvenir to set in the office for people to admire, because you know, they are very pretty birds.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to take it to the taxidermist, let me give you a little pointer that'll help you get it there in a prime condition.
Okay.
The better the bird reaches the taxidermist, the easier his job is and the better mount he can give you.
Well, the main thing is you want to keep all the feathers and everything in position and not ruffled, right?
Right. And you don't want to get any stains on it from blood or anything like that. So what I do is I take the head and tuck it back under the wing, hold it in there. Then I take an old nylon stocking that my wife has discarded and slide it in there gently. Try and keep we'll roll it back over the bird. And
it's not an easy
thing to do, but once you get it started, it slides pretty well. And what that does, keeps all the feathers. You can see how all underneath there, all the feathers are going in the same direction.
Yeah.
And any fluid that does come off of the bird will soak through the nylon and be pulled away and kept away from the feathers. You can pack this in paper towels next, and then wrap it up in newspaper. And then that long tail feather, what you want to do is make some kind of splint for that out of cardboard and tape it, because once that feather's cracked, it's very difficult to repair.
Right.
But if you can get it home nice and straight, you'll have a real good job on it from your taxidermist and a mount that'll last you a lifetime.
It's going to make a real nice mount.
Yep.
Well, you've given him some pointers on how to get it home to the taxidermist. What we're going to do is go back to the lodge now. I'm going to give you some good pointers on how to cook them.
Oh, they're great on the table, too.
We're going to do some on the smoker and the grill, and I think everybody will enjoy them. So.
Well, let's get out of here. That sounds too good to wait.
All right.
All right.
We wrap up this edition of the Hunting Odyssey in hot pursuit of the fastest mammal in North America, the pronghorn antelope. Let's join Judd Cooney as he stalks the elusive animal.
Few things in its natural environment escapes the pronghorn's notice, even though they often seem unaware of movement around them. Their eyesight is undoubtedly the keenest of all the big game, and it's not unusual for them to detect movement at 2 or 3 miles. They also have an extremely wide angle of vision and can literally see behind themselves. Pronghorns are built for speed. They possess oversized hearts and lungs, and their windpipes are over 6 times larger than our own. This allows them to gulp in large amounts of oxygen during flight. Even the design of the leg bones are unique on this prairie speedster. Because of their dense composition and structure, the pronghorn can easily absorb the tremendous stress of running across the plains. Fastest of all North American mammals, they can achieve a burst of speed approaching 70 miles an hour on flat terrain, and can maintain cruising speed of 40 miles an hour for several miles without showing any signs of stress.
Well, the most effective way of hunting antelope is using a pit blind on a water hole. The antelope water at least once or twice a day, and this is when they are the most susceptible to a bow hunter. Well, one of the toughest things to locate is a good water hole for antelope. There's either too many water holes or very few, and the only way that you can locate these is by glassing for the antelope, spotting the antelope as they go to water, and then checking the water holes that they are using. Antelope are creatures of habit, and even though there's quite a few water holes in an area, one will be their favorite, with the other ones as secondary water holes, and it is the prime water hole that you want to put your blind on. Okay, those antelope are going to come in right over here, so we're going to be hidden from anything coming down this little draw, and this hill's not going to be in the way of a shooter in here, so You know, we're going to have most of our antelope right here in our pocket. Most bow hunters just simply don't take enough time to build a good, comfortable blind that you can sit in for 8 to 10 hours without moving, completely hidden from the antelope, and especially completely hidden when you have to move to get the shot. Okay, I think we got a good blind here. We got about a 35, 40 yard maximum shot. We got good cover, good camouflage bow hunter and bow in the morning. We'll be right in the right spot. Get plenty of elbow room, get good coverage. I think somebody's gonna get him a record book buck out of this blind. Antelope have the keenest eyesight of any of our North American big game animals, and it's to the hunter's advantage to use the best optics possible while he's hunting these critters. Good binoculars and good spotting scopes are of the utmost value in spotting the animals, planning your stock, picking out areas where they are. Well, we'll see you this evening. Good luck.
Okay.
Get a big one.
Yeah.
After I drop the hunter off in the blind, it becomes a contest between the bow hunter and the antelope. One of the biggest problems that antelope bow hunters have is one of patience. They're not used to seeing lots of game close up. They get antsy from sitting in the blind and watching these antelope at 20 and 30 yards, and eventually their nervous system can't take it anymore and they take a shot at an antelope that they really don't want. I have to caution hunters every day that they just have to be patient and wait for the one they want, move slow and easy, and make their shot count. An antelope is never a lead pipe cinch when he comes into a water hole. There's always a lot of variables and a lot of little things that can make the difference between success or failure. The only difference between an antelope standing stock still drinking and one running 40 miles an hour is 2 steps.
Bill's hours of practice on his archery range back home pay off as the antelope starts off seemingly unhit. Bill's arrow had gone through the antelope so fast that neither Bill nor the antelope was sure that he was hit until the antelope started to stagger and showed definite signs of being hit.
In most bow hunting situations with other big game animals, the accepted practice is to wait a reasonable length of time until the arrow has a chance to take effect on the animal before trying to trail it. With antelope, since you're hunting in open country, it's desirable to keep the animal in sight at all times until it does bed down, and then you can decide what you're going to do from that point on. A few miles away, I was checking on another one of my bow hunters, Len Cardinale. Len's signal indicated that he had an antelope down, but I wouldn't have needed a signal because Len's teeth shining through my spotting scope made it obvious that he had a pretty good buck.
Trips back to the base camp are always more enjoyable when the day's hunt has been successful. Pictures and congratulations are the first order of business.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Having an animal such as the antelope at a distance of a few yards or even a few feet and watching every movement as they drink and as they play in the water hole is just a unique experience. You never get tired of. After watching thousands of them and spending many, many hours in the blind photographing them, I still enjoy the experience every time I go out.
Bow hunting for antelope. Now that's a challenge anyone can appreciate. Well, that does it for this edition of the North American Hunting Odyssey. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And don't forget to send us those tapes. Before we go, I'd like to thank the following people for helping make this videotape possible. Tony Knight and the folks at Hunt, Nebraska. Darwin Watson and Christina Falls Outfitters. The folks at Bostic Plantation in Estill, South Carolina, for providing an afternoon of exciting quail hunting. Magellan, makers of fine GPS instruments. Buck Run Ranch in Texas, outfitter Bill Whitfield and Alan Jenkins of Lynch Game Calls for those great Rio Grande turkeys. Life member Randy Burnham for that fine Alaskan black bear footage. Stuart Weber and Diamond Lake Outfitters for that great Manitoba goose hunt. And finally, Judd Cooney for his great tips on bow hunting the pronghorn antelope. For the North American Hunting Club, I'm Bill Miller. Until next time, take care and good hunting.
You ready, Sadie? Come on, let's go. Atta girl, atta girl. Come on.